Well, I'm almost over to the Meadows right now. I have been going all morning. Emails and phone calls coming in. I think I get through most of it. It made me feel like the old days when you're a caretaker cleaning stalls. You get up and turn the lights on. There's 7 stalls waiting there, or 6 or whatever waiting there for you. It's a daunting task, but after you get through 5, it feels pretty easy, and that's how I feel right now. Now we still have racing to do, obviously. Some overnights in Grand Slam DO, Arrowhead, Hanover tonight, Melisandre. And then, of course, I told you guys the highlight of my day is going to be watching Ollie play tonight. His game starts at 6. I race at 6:22. I should see at least one at bat or two and see him in the field a little bit. So it should be a good night and a lot of fun. The weather is cooperating thus far, which makes everything oh so easy, that's for sure. Now today, obviously, I'm in a chipper mood because the horses trained very good this morning. We trained most of our horses between 2:13 and 2:16. One trotting set went in 2:12, 2:11 and 4, 2:12, and the pace went around 2:10 and 4, 2:11. And they were all very good. The one thing you notice, and you don't notice, and I notice this time of year, is what the horses do when you push them. You know, when we first start training them, those first couple of months, you'll go out and you'll go in a set and you'll push them, and then you'll see how they eat their lunch, how they come off the track, how they feel, if they're sound the next day. These are the things we're looking for. And again, a different situation, but very similar in the sense that we're trying to watch and see what everybody looks like tomorrow, right? How they eat their lunch today. Because there were some horses that were tired today. Other horses, we had 2 sets that went 2 trips. We had a number of sets that went 1.5 miles, a little quicker, and I wanted to see how they felt. This is the very first stage of the last part of that, drive to the races, so to speak, where you get to see that the cream start to separate, right? You really get to see that ladder start to show its face. It went from being in the background, we talk about theoretically horse number 1 through 40 whatever, to now being kind of in the forefront where you're getting a real good look at everything. And I have to remind myself that some of the horses that maybe were tired today will take away from that and get better and better and better and stronger, and what they look like in 3 weeks will not resemble the horse that they look like today. Some horses will just look awesome today because they're really starting to put it all together. You start to see that talent level start to come forward. And then, of course, you see the sleepers are starting to show up a little bit. The ones that we didn't talk a whole lot about in the wintertime, but something about these horses, something about these particular horses, I can think of 3 or 4 as I start to say this. As the sentences are coming out of my mouth, there's 3 or 4 horses' names popping into my head. One in particular I thought looked exceptionally good today. So we're going to get right to it. The first set was 5 Pacers, Sweet Lake, Perfect Thought, Millie Girl, Diosa Della Danza, and Highest Honors. Now, the other thing that will happen when you really start to show them speed this time of year, once in a while you'll get a horse tied up. We had that happen once or twice today too. Highest Honors was one of them. It's not his fault. It's not really viewed as an inferiority, but it definitely took away from his overall ability this morning. 4 Pacers finished across the track. I looked back, and just back a little bit was Highest Honors, who I truthfully thought would be right there in the mix, like an accordion across the track, all 5 of them. I'd asked Jason after, I said, what happened? He goes, just out of, pop. He was just out of power. It's a powerful colt. He's not out of power. We scoped him to make sure. That answers a lot of questions. No mucus, no blood, no redness, no nothing. No, some baby pimples, but nothing serious. Which obviously draws your attention to his blood work, which we'll take tomorrow morning. I don't think it's bad, but it was enough to take a little bit off the top, so to speak, of our boy Highest Honors today. So he was back a little bit. Now I was 4th. We were maybe all within 3/4 of a length or a length of one another. I was 4th with Sweet Lake. She cut it out, and she felt a little soft today too. I went 1 mile in 2:11, right? 2:10 to bed, 2:11. Last half in like 1:03 in the jog cart at 1.5 miles. That's a lot to ask. That's a big day. It's a big day at the office. And when it came to, I think, Sweet Lake, we have everything on the inside of her because she used to run in. She doesn't need that stuff anymore. At least take the Murphy blind off. Just have the line pull on the left. She was very strong before when I had trained her. In fact, I beat up on these fillies and made them like it before, these pacers, so to speak. But she wasn't awesome. In fact, Amy came right out of the 2-hole with Millie Girl and was going to inhale her coming out of the turn. I said, hey, just sit. We don't need to be flying on the end of it. And Millie Girl was just chomping at the bit. Diosa Della Danza ducked to the inside and Perfect Thought on the outside. Diosa Della Danza, I think, got by everybody, but she had the freshest set of legs. Remember, Amy came out of the 2-hole, getting into the last turn and just sat outside of me. Had she just dropped the hammer, she probably wins the set by 2-3 lengths. There's nothing they could do about it. Nothing I could do about it, I can tell you that. So Millie Girl was exceptionally good. Diosa Della Danza continues to get stronger and stronger. And Perfect Thought just fanned 4 wide and was charging at the wire. Exactly what I wanted to see from 3 of them. I believe Sweet Lake is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And I wouldn't be shocked if she didn't tie up a hair this morning. Because that snap power that I remember her having, this wasn't that long ago. We're talking 215, 216, 217. That snap power that she had wasn't quite as present today. So we were watching and she seemed fine after. The first set was very good. Now the next 2 sets went 2 trips. They went out 1 mile and 240. One of them jogged, and that was Jailbird Jog, because she can get a little grabby, she can get a little ornery. Let's not poke the bear. Just go out and jog her 2.5 miles and see how she is. Neuromancer made a break. Touched his ankle up front, made a break. Now the question is the chicken and the egg. Did he touch the ankle and make a break, or did he make a break and touch the ankle? I don't know. I only saw him as he was finishing up a smile at the back. I looked over. He looked like he was trotting very good. But again, the consistency has to be there. Right? The fractious training sessions have to come to an end, and that usually leads to a lot of work. But with Neuromancer, we have lots of time. I mean, when I really, really would like to have him on his best would be Lexington. So we have lots of time to worry about him. Him getting to Oak Grove is not really, I'm not concerned about that. June 23rd, 24th, I'm not really concerned about that. But I am concerned about having him at 100% for Lexington. So we'll need to work with him. Physically, he's strong. Physically, he's fast. Mentally, he's just got to get there. Much like his brother, only his brother was smaller, and with the hobbles on, he could power through until he learned as he went. Whereas Neuromancer is a bigger, stronger colt. He doesn't take to the hobbles as well. I noticed they didn't have the hobbles on him today. I would have put them on him today. But that's okay. It's not the end of the world. We need to get him to a comfort zone and a base. He's not the only one. And then allow him to be consistently good every week, slow or fast after that. So he's a baby. He's a baby. Megan's Lucky Day. I had like 4 horses in this set that I wanted to go with. I chose Jailbird Jog because I got a lot of questions to answer with her. So I went with her. I didn't know how Megan's Lucky Day would be. I was so surprised and happy as we finished up her mile. Now, Jailbird Jog, I put her on the front, and she absolutely devoured everybody. I just wanted to cut the mile out. I was mad because in the pace I wanted to go in 13, but I buy 20 of the cheap watches, and they just disappear. Like people eat them on their lunch break or something. For some reason, they just can't put them back. Well, if you're an old horseman and you've been in a big barn, you know exactly why we buy those watches. 1, you don't care if you break them. And 2, people borrow them and just leave them at their butts or put them in their pocket. And then all of a sudden, you get a $70 or an $80 stopwatch. It's disappeared. So over the years, I've decided, you know what? Keep the $2 watch. I'm not buying any more $70 or $80 watches. The little blue things, they're gone. There's none in the office. So rather than flip out, I know that when I was in Ontario, so for Cindy and Shane, don't worry, I have your watch. But Cindy is from an old, she's an old horse person too. You never wind that watch tight. But what happens is after a while it winds down. So as I'm starting my mile, I click it. It goes to 14 seconds. I reset it, I click it, it goes to 12 seconds. I'm in the mile. I now know I have to wind it a little bit, and I did not. So the first set, I cut it out. We went too much by a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. But by set number 2, I've now wound the watch and I know exactly where we're going. I wanted to go in 13 last half and 4 or 5. Instead, I went a mile in 13 last half and like 102 and 4 in the jog card. And I look back getting into the last turn in New York. He's going to struggle in the straightaways until he learns just to let go. The issue is, and I said this the other day, I said he's much like Memento Mori. Obviously, not as wiry and tough and durable, but he's a lot like him. He'll hit that right hind up high under his jack. He'll touch there. But now he's still at a point where he'll touch it and he'll shudder. That's where you have to make a break. What he needs to learn to do is touch it, push through. And he will. It's just repetition. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And there's going to be horsemen out there here and say, well, you should be able to shoo him away from it. Well, I've been doing this a long time. Getting a horse out of a jack is an extremely difficult thing to do. It's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. And I think we got him to a place where he should be more effective. He just needs to work harder. What he might need to do is be on a bigger track to stretch out for a little bit. So I don't know if we'll send him home to Ontario or we might send the horses over to Tim for 3 or 4 weeks. I don't know. There's a couple that may benefit from that, but I'm not making any decisions yet. I'm certainly not worried about. I knew in New York was going to make a break today. There's nothing I could do. I wanted to go with Jailbird Jog. I wanted to get a look at her. I wanted to see if the equipment we had on, the shoeing changes we made, everything, is it working? We pulled up and Corey Kreiser goes, I have half my burn right now that are racehorses that can't catch that filly in a jog cart. I said, well, good news is you're never going to have to race against her with those horses. She was very, very good this morning. Now, did all the work in the front. You might say, well, she was on the front, but she was on the front. She never let up. She never looked for a way out, and she was looking for more the entire mile. Not in a crazy way, just in a, this isn't so bad after all kind of way. Huge step forward for Jailbird Jog. Megan's Lucky Day was the one closing. If I came a half at like 103, what was her last half? She was very good. And in New York, made a break. I get it. It's not the last time he's going to do it, but along the way, we're going to try and get the last few wrinkles out. His attitude's great. Trots the turn's good, but hits that right hind up high in the straightaway. So we're going to continue to try and work away at that. He's a Fearless Beater was good. Don't Ask Again, I think, might have made a break. This is the only horse in the entire list. I am not positive what happened with her this morning. And Amy said she thought Love Sensation might have tied up a bit. She was closing in, but she said after, a little stiff coming out of the bath rack. She did go to her hay, so she wasn't super uncomfortable, but there was some concern that maybe she tied up a little bit. We had the veterinarians come in and treat them with a little Banamine and also some electrolytes, so no concerns in that regard. The set was good. Jailbird Jog was a standout in that set. Megan's Lucky Day was good also. Very happy with set 2. We were out with set number 3. I had Pretty Eyes and Lies. Amy had Captain Doolittle. AC/DC, Leland Hanover, Joe J. Fotag made a break, and Royal Duchess. Joe J. Fotag, I'm just hoping when she gets to the gate, she comes alive, and if she does not, she'll get to the gate and get qualified to be sold. And that's what will happen with probably 1 or 2 or 3 horses in the midst here. They just aren't going to come forward. They're going to get to that starting gate. They're going to go and do their work because that's what they're supposed to do. But their ceiling to us is going to become pretty evident. And at that point, they'll likely be listed. And I would suspect if you were going to put a gun to my head and say, you got to give me one name who's going up for sale, it might be Joe Jane. It's just the reality of it. She's got to do a bit more. She has to show me that she wants to do a lot more. Royal Duchess was good. Leland Hanover finished up good again today. AC/DC was in the mix, but I'm going to be honest, Amy and I put it on them. Amy came first over. Now, I made a break in the first turn with Pretty Eyes and Lies. I can't tell you why. I have no idea why she did it. She caught back trotting. I got away second last. I got away last, and Amy was in second last. Now Joe J. Fotag was in last. So Amy and I are sitting 4th and 5th. Amy comes first over at the half with Captain Doolittle. Clears Royal Duchess getting into the last turn. I didn't wait for any of that to happen. I moved Pretty Eyes and Lies 3 wide down the backstretch, cleared the whole field, and won the set 2:13 and 2. Her own last half in 1:03. She was very, very good. Captain Doolittle was second and looked very good doing it. Oh no, he was third. Leland Hanover was second. He was coming to my wheel at the wire. It's a lot of work. You got to remember, as I said to Eric said he was better, still a little shuffly down by the wire. I said, Eric, he's a June 11th foal. that missed the first month of his training because he had OCDs out and he was castrated. Remember that. He said, "Oh, I know. I'm not unhappy with him at all, but he needs to be stirred up a little bit. I just don't think there's a big rush to do it. He doesn't have to be stirred up right now. Long year, lots of time. Happy with that set, and as I said, a little disappointed with Joe Jaga. I expect her to do a little bit more moving forward, but for the most part, everybody in that set did their work well. Now we went back to the 1.5-mile training sessions. I was going with Jolene Hall. Jolene Hall made a break in the first turn. I changed the Murphy blind to the inside. Now, Jason said she was going to pull up. She wasn't going to pull up on me. I put the Murphy blind to the inside. Probably should have had a head pull on, and I let her get twisted around just a little bit in the first turn. She rolled off, but man, she was all business after that. And again, caught the field, caught up, second over, third over. Amy cleared to the front with Jolene, or with Tomboy Strong again, and put it on us. I dropped to the inside. Royal Flush Deal was on the outside. Poor Judy's money. Had to train. The hobbles were a little tight. She had Jason on her, and a flat tire on the left. We were turning to our mile. Jason goes, "I got a flat tire." I said, "Well, do you want to go ahead and change?" He goes, "No, let's go." So she trained with a flat tire, and then after he said flat tire, and her hobbles were a little bit too tight. He said other than that, she was good. She was fourth or fifth. Supermind was flying on the end of it. And then the only two horses in there to make breaks were Emerald Tom and Rico Tubbs, which I don't understand. Tyler went in with Emerald Tom. He said he needed a pair of bell boots. Put the bell boots on him, went out and trained him at 220. He said he was perfect. Rico Tubbs, I already know it was wrong. Rico Tubbs, we turned to our mile. He doesn't need the hobbles, but if they're on, they should be on. And Johnny had a shorter jog cart. I don't think he realized that jog cart was a little shorter than the other one. I told him, those hobbles are a little long, and he goes, "Well, I can't really change them." He said, "I'm sure you'll be fine." No, you won't. No shot. As soon as we picked up speed, starting past the 3/8, I believe, I saw he just lost him. He ran out, lost him a little bit. Listen, I could train Rico Tubbs on the bike at 2.8 right now. I'm not worried about Rico Tubbs. I knew there was a decent chance he was going to lose him going on the track, or as we went to Turner Mile, and in fact he did. Now I could have forced him to go back off the track, stop the horse, get some help, and pull the hobbles up, but I thought to myself, well, maybe he will try, maybe he'll be fine, and he wasn't. So two breaks that were, one I know exactly what happened, zero concern. The other was rectified with just a set of bell boots, and that was Emerald Tom. Tomboy Strong continues to make everybody like it. Came first over and put it on us. Jolene Hall was great. Supermind was great. Royal Flush Deal was great. Judy's Money was great. The only hiccups in that set were Emerald Tom and Rico Tubbs. Both of them horses have been great, so I'm not worried about either of them. Now we get to the last two sets. I told you guys that I went with Zena Kemp. You could tell what the issues were. Amy and Carla have been working on those issues nonstop. Her knees and her hind ankles. They play off of one another, so you have to keep them both in check all the time. And that's exactly what we did. I know, never mind. I think we can give up. I'm not picking up. This has got to go. No, negative. So we had to know, cut it out. Half in 110, a mile in 114. Zena Kemp came to the outside. I slid through the middle late with Blue Rare. Steph's Hope was flying up the inside, and Capistrano Knights was right behind us. All five of those horses were very good, but Zena Kemp looked very, very good today. She had to come the last half in probably 103, a mile and 14, and looked very good doing it. I was the same, mile and 14, last half in 103 and a bit with Blue Rare, but I kind of snuck out late with her. One thing I noticed about Blue Rare, sweated up quite a bit. Now, I don't know if she's in heat. She didn't seem sore to me. She seemed better on that left hind. I told you guys she seemed a little stiff on it the other day. Dr. Latessa was going to have another look at her this afternoon, but I thought the entire set of set 5 was good. We're in a big hurry now as I'm trying to get over to the Meadows to race. Last set, I went with Rose Run Bobby, and I made fun of Amy for doing exactly what I did today. Now, a lot went into it. Jason went a little too much with Uncle Danny on the front end, and I told him, I said, these horses are only going one trip still, and they're in the jog cart. A little too much. We went a mile and 2:11 in a bit, which, whatever. was fine. Rose Run Bobby got a little anxious as Jason realized he was going too fast, and I knew he was too. He got up the quarter in 33 and a piece, almost 34. That's a half in 108, but he wasn't going a half in 8. He was going a half in 7 probably, which was way too much. Now you're on 7.4, 7.5, where really it should have been 7.7, 7.6. So as Jason slammed on the air, I got up close to him with Bobby. I thought that they had the snake cord on Bobby. Bobby gets a little anxious too, and she's learning. This is all part of the learning process for her too. And she got close to Jason, and she got a little anxious and threw her head, made a break. I lost her. Same thing that Amy did the other day, and it was my fault today. You know, Amy was just trying to be fair to her the other day. I thought she had the snake cord on. Once I got close to Jason, just seesaw her a little bit, and she'd come back to me, but she didn't have the snake cord on. When I went to seesaw her, she just threw her head and got up on top of Jason and made a little break. Go Strong Hanover was good, but again, him too. We took the flip-flops off him yesterday, and he made a break at the 5.8. So I stopped after. A little side note, I said to Jason, all right, I need a little info on Go Strong, because we've talked about castrating him. I haven't. He goes, well, I don't care if you castrate him. He said, but I don't think he needs to. He's fine. He said, if anything, he was a tiny bit shuffly because he didn't have those flip-flops on, and we worked really hard. I think he just lost his focus for a hair at the half and then made a break. He came back trotting and ended up right beside everybody else. Degas was exceptionally good. Aunt Sarah was good. She was charging through the middle late also. I'm going to tell you who kind of caught my eye today the most was Cherry's girl. Came first over, I believe. Now, she didn't win the set. Uncle Danny won the set and looked good. Told you guys he kind of starting to pull away just ever so slightly from the pack in regards to, let's say, if we're measuring them by next generation. Just starting to pull away just a hair from the pack, and quite frankly, I beat Tomboy Strong with Rose Run Bobby 2 weeks ago training, fair and square. We went a great mile. But Tomboy Strong does everything perfect. So I would have to say that maybe she is in front just a hair of Rose Run Bobby as we speak right now. And then, of course, Highest Honors, who obviously the horse tied up. I'm not too worried about that today. And Diosa Della Danza. There's how the painting looks right now for the next generation. If we happen to get all the spots we want. Now, as for the 6th set, I believe the order of finish was as follows. Uncle Danny won pretty convincingly. Cherry's Girl was second. I believe Degas was third. Aunt Sarah fourth. Go Strong Hanover and Rose Run Bobby. We were all right there, though. I know they went too much, and it happened. It's not the end of the world. Nobody was really. The only horse stretched out a little bit was Bobby. But I think she, as I said to you guys, you know, she took her takeaway from her training last time was so great. You know, she laid down for the latter part of the morning and get up, ate her lunch, and then when I come back that night again, she was laying down. She's a smart athlete. So I think electrolyte paste for her, make sure that she eats her lunch, make sure that everything is okay. And I think her takeaway from this training session was still a positive thing. I was very, very happy with what I saw personally from all the horses today. As I said, there are going to be a couple that start to disappoint us a little bit. Not that many, though. I mean, I know I picked Jo J out of the group, but it's just because I need to see her do more. And that runs hand in hand, almost in lockstep with wanting to do more, right? If she's just over-trotting herself like Bobby, well, fine. I'll stick up for you. But if you're just making unforced errors, maybe just because she's too big, I don't know. She's not the biggest horse we have. She just has one of them. So there are you start to see that ladder start to emerge now. So I would say some of the real standouts from today, everybody in the pacing set did a great job. Even Highest Honors, it wasn't his fault. Horse is every bit as fast as everybody, just didn't have a great day today. But definitely the standout to me, Millie Girl. I don't think she won the set, but for her just to move out of the 2-hole, go to obliterate me, and then I said, hey, just sit there and just stop her. Sit. Go forward. That's a very hard thing to ask a 2-year-old horse to do, especially a pacer. So I was very happy with her. Stand at the second. Jailbird Jog just absolutely eviscerated everybody and looked exceptionally good doing it. Megan's Lucky Day was a very good runner-up. Third set, Pretty Eyes and Lies was great. I know Amy's all worried about her knees. And I said, honey, it's as simple. I'm going to make it as simple as I can for you. If she's starting at sore in 2:15, then we know what we have to do, right? You have to be very careful with her. I said, I know it's a long time ago, but you have to remember too, Lawmaker was a little tender in his knees when we first started him. She knows that too. So I'm not too worried about it right now. We know what we have to manage. We know how to mitigate it. But the thing I loved about her, made that break, ended up second over. I moved her 3 wide, and she inhaled everyone and drove away a mile and 2:13. That was a very, very good mile from Pretty Eyes and Lies. Get some gas. Third set, Tomboy Strong just continues to look great. Jolene Hall was a breakout day for her. I was very, very pleased with her. Royal Flushdale did his work well also. Judy's Money with a flat tire. You can't really blame her. And Supermind was flying on the end of it. That set was great too. Zena Kemp looked very professional in her training mile today. Very, very happy with her. We're gonna have a lot of fun with Zena. As I told everybody, just take your time, relax. You guys get to see the entire process, right? You're watching the pie bake in the oven right now, so to speak. So very happy with Zena. Blue Rare was good. I think she's coming back into her own. It was not her best performance today, but she's definitely better than she's been the last 2 weeks. Wasn't that she was bad. This is a filly that I truly believe is one of our best. And the way she sweated up makes me believe that she was stressed out a little bit, less than the other day, but still pretty evident today. She should be shining up and dappling out and feeling confident and looking confident, not looking like that. So she was good today. Steph's Hope, huge comeback from a filly who her knees bothered her all year, and for her to be this good and getting better, it's impressive. She was exceptionally good. And then the last set, Uncle Danny was just very, very strong. Cherry's Girl, very, very strong. And Amy was happy with Aunt Sarah. Degas, Eric said it's just push button now. So these are the things, this is the feedback that I want to get, right? Now, the other side of that coin are the horses I'm concerned about. Not worried about Bobby or Go Strong Hanover in the least. Everybody in set 5 was great. Rico Tubbs, again, just tighten his hobbles up a little bit. He's 100% fine. Emerald Tom, Tyler was correct. Just a set of bell boots on him, take the Murphy blind off him. He's fine. Joe J. Fotag is my only true concern at this point. Just really worried about where she's going to land. ACDC did his work well. I didn't talk about him enough. You know, Jason said he's got to be faster than this. We got to work on his speed, and we can. He's sound. He's comfortable. He's not online. Now we can work on his speed. I'll do that over the next 2 weeks. So again, we're one horse in 3 sets. A tie-up, a break from Neuromancer. Is he concerning? No. If this continues, it'll become concerning, but I know it shouldn't because he's bounced back from this before. I just need him to start understanding his work well, you know, dealing with any issues that come up during the mile and putting them away in a positive way rather than just exploding. And that's where he's at right now. Just immaturity. Don't Ask Again is one we just have to work on. But again, she's in the group. She just has to do her work better. And again, the Pacers were fantastic. So there's a bird's eye view of what I saw today. Thoroughly pleased with the horses, how they did their work and how they behaved. You know, it's not long now. A couple of weeks, they'll be in the bikes. You know, going, you know, by May 15th, we're going to have them in the bikes to go a mile in 2.6, 2.5. Somebody messaged me and they said, wow, that just seems so early. It just seems like it might be too early. Well, it used to be our Mother's Day open house. They were all on the race bikes, right? The year that we had Swandry the Giant, he trained in 2.5 on Mother's Day. So it's not that unusual when we're trying to prep horses. When we're trying to prep horses for the summer, I can't expect a horse like Neuromancer to get fixed overnight, win the race bike. Oh my God, he looks great. No, this is going to be an elongated process. It takes time, right? A horse like, where is he at? Leland Hanover. Here's a June 11th foal that's been in 15. There's no need to put him in the bike and go a mile in 2.5 on May 15th. You know, there's lots of stuff available for him. So the horses are ready to do their work. We'll do it on May 15th. And if they're not ready to do that amount of work, then we'll just do less work. But again, continue to have them progressing forward and moving forward. So that's the plan. I guess the big takeaway, no lameness issues that I saw. Now, they might rear their head tomorrow. Might be some horses a little pacey, a little peggy in their knees. That could happen. We're watching Pretty Eyes and Lies, that's for sure. But as of today, right now, no lameness issues to speak of. So with that, you have a very in-depth, up-to-date look at all the babies, how they did, what my thoughts are on all of them, and where we go from here. But a very, very good day at the office thus far. Now, got to make my way over to the Meadows. I got Grand Slam deal to go with. I have Arrowhead Hanover to go with, and then Melisandre tonight. Good luck to all my partners. I will talk to you all very soon.